So I have some instructions for you today. Okay, today, I'll be going a little bit fast because many students have demanded me that, I'm updating a lot of locations for this year films also. Okay, so that's why, okay, draw. When I'm doing it here, do it simultaneously. Don't do time pass. Okay, and whatever I say, you note it down. Okay, and on one hand, you keep the atlas, and online also I'm telling you. One hand, keep the atlas. First, you'll be taking Africa. And the other hand, you should be having notebook. Okay? Keep drawing in the notebook and keep marking the locations. Your maps may not be accurate. And if someone is making a digital copy of all this, okay, with the maps which I have provided, that would be great. Give it to me later on. Huh? Anybody? I'm making? Okay. Good.
So you are not visual.
I'm not visible.
Yeah.
Silence, please. Don't waste time. See, okay, whenever you are doing international locations, okay, don't do it very blindly. Okay, you must have seen a lot of videos on the YouTube. Okay, they'll be saying that, दोस्तों यहाँ पे एक location है, यहाँ पे location है, यहाँ पे देख लो, यहाँ पे देख लो, क्या है वो? Okay, exactly look into that. Okay, so here, whenever you are looking to location, for example, drawing a map of Africa. Okay, don't just mark this location on your atlas. Also draw it in your notebook. Now, if you want to draw Africa, it's very easy. This is skull of Africa. Then draw a straight line here. Then draw the horn part of Africa. Let's do it. So whichever location you want to show in Africa, you can show it here. Now, whenever you do any location, for example, okay, you're doing some highland over here. Okay, here, for example. Now understand what is the importance of the highland. What is the importance? Because of this highland, is there any difference in temperature, climatic conditions? And what is the ethnicity of the people over there? And because of the change in the ethnicity, okay, are there any territorial conflicts? Because if you look in the last year prelims, okay, in every year prelims, there have been 6 to 7 locations from the world only. World locations have been asked. And if you analyze, all these locations are on territorial conflicts. Okay, so don't just mug up, this incident is happening there in this part of the country. Okay, don't. Have a holistic view. Because say you might be mugging up for some tribe name or some location in some part of Africa. But again, when that same question, okay, or related question is asked in the mains, what will you write there if you don't know the background? So I'll be coming, okay, I'll telling you various concepts to which you can link. So this will not be just useful for your, okay, prelims part, okay, but also it will be helpful for your mains part. And for this year prelims, okay, this is going to be, okay, very important. And also, okay, even if you're preparing for next 2-3 years, so this is going to be relevant because the conflicts are not going to change. Okay? The tribes are going to remain the same and little bit, okay, locations here and there will change. So this video is going to be relevant for, okay, like at least for next 10 years. So keep this in mind. Now, firstly, okay, what is the linkage you have to keep in mind is that, okay, any location. And if you're looking at any location, then what are the tribes and their ethnicity? And is the ethnicity changing because of some geographical barrier? Geographical barrier. Okay. Now, so getting into preliminary investigation of entire Africa. Hello. Okay. Now, why do we have too many conflicts in Africa? So, not only this year, any year, okay, if you are looking into any locations, you want to look into any location, there's a NGO called as Crisis Group International. Okay. From now onwards, you can believe in all the international NGOs because politics have changed. Okay. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. So Crisis Group International, it always comes with a list of 10 locations in the world, okay, which are into conflicts. According to Crisis Group International, okay, the reasons which have been noted by them, okay, for the conflicts in the world, you can note down the reasons. According to Crisis Group International, not according to Jay Shankar. Okay. So these are the primary reasons behind the conflicts internationally. Okay. The first is the territorial disputes. Territorial dispute. Say country, okay, two countries are having a unresolved territory, like we have with India also. And look at the map of Africa over here. So the divisions, okay, have been drawn by the colonizers. And most of the dispute, most of the boundaries haven't been settled. And also I have explained you what is a frontier, what is a boundary, and what is a buffer zone. Again, I'm explaining the buffer zone can be a country or geopolitical entity also. So which is keeping two warring parties apart. Example here is Ukraine. The Ukraine has been keeping the NATO on this side, and on the other side, okay, you have CSTO, Collective Security Treaty Organization, that is Russia. So Ukraine has been keeping them away from each other. So that is buffer. Okay, the buffer is deliberate, whereas frontier is due to geographical inaccessibility. For example, you have Tibetan region over here. So the Tibetan region, okay, like earlier, it used to separate the Indian civilization and the Chinese civilization. So this was an inaccessible territory. So here, the boundary was not settled. So that's the reason why, okay, in this region, okay, we have so many numerous territorial conflicts. But as in when the country's population is growing, and as in when, okay, when the technology advances, then the frontier region will also be encroached into. And when two countries starts encroaching towards each other, then that will later lead into the territorial disputes because the boundary will not be settled. China will be saying that, no, my border is still here. India will be saying that, no, my border is still here. Okay, so that is what a frontier is. Okay, you have numerous such locations. Okay, while we'll be going through, okay, the mapping portion, I will tell you where all in the world we have frontiers, where we have borders, and where are we have the buffers. Okay, now that is one reason. Second reason being, okay, the rise of the authoritarianism. Okay, thankfully in India it has decreased now. Okay, rise of authoritarianism. Now we can say it, right? Okay. Again, okay, I have some data backing up. Okay, now in the past 10-15 years, there has been a rise of authoritarianism. If the same trend continues, okay, less than 5% of the world population, okay, will be, okay, living under authoritarianism. So this is the data. Okay, you can back up with such kind of data. The second reason, rise of authoritarianism. Third reason is organized crime. You can use these concepts everywhere. Third reason is organized crime. Like recently, okay, the examples, the good examples of this have been the Mexico. Recently, the election also happened in Mexico. Okay, like around 34 people have been killed. Okay, it was not like the smooth transition in India. Okay, so Mexico is a very classic example of this. Okay, next is armed non-state actors. Armed non-state actors. If you're arming non-state actors, non-state entities, means extrajudicial entities, if you're arming them, finally they'll backfire. And we'll see this through various examples while we are going through. Okay. And last and very important reason, okay, which will also explain, okay, in Africa, that is climate change. And as far as geography is concerned, the climate change becomes very important. So because of climate change, how the conflicts are arising, how the refugee crisis has been caused. We'll go through that. Okay. Okay. So these are the various reasons, okay, we have conflicts. Okay. Why I'm focusing more on this? Because UPSC is also focusing on these kind of things. And this, okay, topic will not just end in the prelims only. It will also come up in the mains. Okay. So these are the various reasons. Now, firstly, okay, I'll be explaining you the physical topography of Africa. So once you understand it, physical topography, you'll understand the climate and ethnicities also. Okay. And whenever you have, okay, again, note on this point, whenever you have a geographical barrier, whenever there is a geographical barrier, like a mountain or a rift valley, it will also act as a barrier for cultural fusion. Cultural fusion, leading to different ethnicities. Okay. Now, always remember this linkage. Whichever part of the world you go into, okay, if you want to understand why there is a conflict, okay, so remember this chain. Okay, this is a textbook rule. It's same for every part of the world. Okay. So firstly, okay, say you can have geographical barrier, or you'll be having climatic barrier. So because of this barrier, you'll be having different ethnicities. Okay. Now, this different ethnicity can be analyzed from two lenses. One lens is diversity, and the other lens is differences. So for a very long time, India has cherished diversity. But, okay, if you start looking at the differences, and these differences can lead to conflicts. If you cherish diversity, there won't be any conflict. And behind every conflict, if you see, there is some resource over there. This resource can be mineral resource, or this resource can also be geostrategic. But mostly it is the mineral resource. Ultimately, the money rules. Okay. Always look from this perspective. If you're thinking of any region having conflict, first see whether it has any resource or not. And UPSC always will be asking this. Okay. We're coming across that in, okay, DRC and, many parts of Africa. And Africa is rich in resources. And there is not even a single region in Africa, okay, there is no resource, okay, and there is no conflict. Both are interlinked with each other. Okay. So that's why firstly we'll be looking into the geography here. Now see, okay, this is the topography of Africa. Okay. Now, okay, I'll be marking the topography because, okay, I'll be marking the high mountains. See, I'll not be telling you everything here. So that is there in all the textbooks. Okay, I'll be telling you the most important points, okay, which is going to make a difference, okay, in writing the answers. Okay. Now, draw this simultaneously. So you have a mountain here. This is called as the Atlas Mountain. This Atlas Mountain is erstwhile Fold Mountain. It was a fold mountain. So since it is located on the margins of the continents, it has Andean type of orogeny. Andean type of orogeny. So Andean type of orogeny means it has been created because of oceanic plate subduction once upon a time and the accumulation of marine sediments along the continent. Okay, so that's why it has Andean type of orogeny. But now this subduction is not very active. Okay, and the second here you have Guinea Highlands. Guinea Highlands. Okay, and guess. See, if you have studied the soils, earlier I've explained you the formation of the bauxite. The bauxite is formed because of leaching. Okay, because of what? Tropical weathering. So if you are having a highland or a tableland topography, and in the tableland topography, if there is very high rainfall over a period of time, then that will lead to leaching. The silica will be leached down because silica, okay, is very erosive in nature. In high temperatures, in tropical temperatures, it will erode down. And in the upper layers, you'll be having accumulation of Al2O3 and Fe2O3. And if any highland is becoming rich in Al2O3, bauxite, okay, so that becomes the source of aluminium. And this single portion over here has around 50% of world's bauxite. Remember this because later on, we'll be linking this with the conflicts in this region. Next. So these highlands which you see here, these highlands are called as Adamawa. Adamawa Highlands. So these are located in Cameroon. So these are part of, okay, Nigeria also. Okay. And we have conflicts in Nigeria as well as in Cameroon. Okay. So Adamawa, so they're also rich in the bauxite. Okay. Next, here you have, so Atlas is a fold mountain, but this is a block mountain. Block mountain. The name of the block mountain is Drakensberg. The Drakensberg. And all along Africa, here you have Rift Valley. This is the Rift Valley of Africa. So this Rift Valley has been created because of divergent plate boundary. Divergent plate boundary. And on the either sides of this Rift Valley, you'll be having block mountains. Block mountains. Okay, tell me, okay, there are three types of rifting. Okay. So if you have a divergent plate boundary, it will be called as which type of a rift or which type of a fault? There are three types of faults, right? If the plates are moving apart, okay, the fault is called as normal fault. Okay. If the plates are moving towards each other and the rift is created, it is called as reverse fault. Okay. And the plates are sliding past each other, it's called as transverse fault or slip fault. Okay. So here we'll be having a normal fault. Normal fault. Okay. And here you have two highlands again. Okay. Pogar Mountains and Tibesti. This Hogar and Tibesti, both are volcanic in origin. These are not active volcanoes, but they had been created because of volcanism in the past. That's why I'm using the word volcanic in origin. I hope to the online people, this map is clearly visible. Should I change any color? You can please tell me.
No, sir, it's visible.
It is visible, sir.
Visible, right? Whenever it's not visible, please adjust, okay? I can't go beyond this. Okay. And here you have a highland. This highland which you see, very important. This highland is called as Darfur. Again, this has volcanic origin. Volcanic origin. So these are the most important ones. You don't have to mug up everything. I'm telling you those things which are very important for the examination. If you want everything, okay, दुनिया में बहुत सारे okay material जाके देख लेना. I hope you're able to follow. I'm not too fast, right? Draw. Okay. Now write 2-3 sentences each about all this. I don't. Atlas Mountains. So later on, I will tell you what is Maghreb region. Maghreb region. This eastern part is called as Maghreb, means land of setting sun. Okay. Later on, I'll show you the map also. As of now, you write. It is located in Maghreb region. And I'll not be telling the same points, which I told you earlier. Okay. It is 2,400 kilometers long. 2,400 kilometers long. Now, denuding. Denuding means it is being eroded. Next, Drakensberg. I'm telling you, okay, in the order of importance. Drakensberg. So Drakensberg is also located in South Africa. So that's why it becomes important. Drakensberg. It is a block mountain. Block mountain. In bracket, you can write its formation is similar to the formation of Western Ghats. Its formation is very much similar to the formation of the Western Ghats. Okay, if you have an idea, you will know. Western Ghats also has step-like formation. This will also have step-like formation. Okay. Okay, if you are not aware of this, okay, see this in Indian geography later on. Okay. It is a what you written block mountain created when the Africa was rifting away or drifting, whatever, you can use both the words, drifting away from Gondwana land. Gondwana land. It has step-like formation. This is important. It has step-like formation because later on we'll see the climatic regions here. That's right. Next, along the Great Rift Valley, okay, you should be having a block mountain. But can you imagine a block mountain which is so high in Africa? If I type this, okay. So this is called as Ruwenzori Mountains. Look at these mountains. these mountains have ice peaks. Okay. So I could not have imagined, okay, something so white in Africa. Okay. So this tells you that, okay, the Africa also has snow-laden peaks. Okay. So that's why this mountain becomes very important. And these mountains are also the source of important rivers. Okay. Such as Nile. Okay. Nile exactly doesn't come in from here, but these glaciers from Rovenzori will be feeding the Nile River. That's why it becomes important. Okay. Next you can write Rovenzori. You can look at the spelling here. Rovenzori. Again, this mountain is located in DRC, which is in conflict again. Last year it has been asked. Mount Rovenzori. These block mountains, and these are so high but not fold. That's why you should remember. These block mountains are created along the Great African Rifting. They have snow-capped. They are snow-capped with glaciers. The snow-capped with glaciers feeding the Nile River, specifically White Nile. Okay, feeding the Nile River. They are also rich in copper and cobalt. Rich in copper and cobalt. And copper important for electrical industry. Remember, cobalt important for lithium-ion batteries. Next, if I open the map of the topography of Africa here, see, so this is the Great African Rifting. And along this Great African Rifting, you have this Ethiopian highlands. So these are Ethiopian highlands. So the fissure, okay, along the Great African Rifting, when the magma has erupted, when the lava has erupted on both the sides, these highlands have been created. And this is dividing the Ethiopia into two parts. Okay. And when, okay, you're having a lava eruption, do you think, okay, it will be maintaining, okay, like one nation, one elevation? What? Never. It will never happen also. So Ethiopia has a lot of undulating topography. Undulating means up and down, up and down. Okay. So when you have a lot of up and down topography, okay, do you think it will become easy for the people to, okay, fuse the culture? No. So that's why Ethiopia also has a lot of ethnicities, and that is why it is leading to problems. Later on, we'll discuss the ethnicities of Ethiopia and the problems between them. And Ethiopia is in conflict. Okay, it is one of the prosperous nations. Okay, like like till 2012. Okay, with a 2-digit growth. Okay, but today, okay, it is into conflicts. That's why it's important. So that's why this geographical, okay, what entity becomes important. So as far as geography is concerned, you can write Ethiopian Islands, okay, created due to fissure fault. Fissure, F-I-S-S-U-R-E. Created due to fissure fault along the Great African Rifting. The Tibetan Highlands or Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan Highlands or the Tibetan Plateau. Huh? Sorry. Tibet aa gaya. Ethiopian Highlands or Ethiopian Plateau. Okay, Plateau means only Tibet comes into my mind. Sorry. Ethiopian Highlands or Ethiopian Plateau is made up of, tell me which type of rocks? Basaltic rocks. Very good. Is made of basaltic rocks. Because whenever you will be having a fissure, The magma is sourced from deep inside the earth and it will be rich in basalt. Okay. Since basalt is highly fluidic in nature, it is able to flow hundreds of kilometers, sometimes thousands of kilometers also. Okay. That's why you have this extensive plateau in Ethiopia. Yeah. Okay. This Ethiopian plateau is called as Abyssinian Massif. Abyssinia. Ethiopia is also called as Abyssinia. Abyssinia. Also called as Abyssinian Massif. Massif. So next, in this part, so where you have seen these Rwenzori mountains, you have these countries Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, etc. So these are all along the Great African Rifting. Okay. So here you have a group of mountains called as Virunga Mountains. Virunga. This was not important earlier, but again, you have a lot of conflicts in this region. So that's why you should know the mountain name. Virunga Mountains. These are along the Great African Rifting. The countries like Uganda, Rwanda, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, etc. Okay. They have active volcanoes because the rifting is active. They have active volcanoes because the rifting is active. And it is a homeland for gorillas. Homeland for the gorillas. Huh? Gorilla. Not gorilla warfare. कश्मीर की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. Okay. Gorilla, animal gorilla. Not this. Not this. This. Okay. Okay. So this is about the geography over here. Okay. So next important feature over here is the Great African Rifting. So earlier in the notes you have written, but again I'm telling you. So this is the Great African Rifting. So the entire thing is called as Great African Rifting. Okay. So this branch is called as East Rift. And this branch is called as West Rift. And whenever the crack, okay, opens wide, water will be accumulated in this and lakes will be formed. Okay. So that's why you have these lakes. You have these lakes around the Great African Rifting. And some of the important lakes here are, okay, in examination, what they'll be asking? They'll be asking you to arrange them from north to south or south to north. Okay. Now tell me the names here. What is the name of the lake here? Lake Nyasa or Lake Malawi. You can mark this in atlas. You can draw also. This is Lake Tanganyika. Kivu. Kivu becomes very important this time because of the conflicts in this region. Lake Kivu, Lake Edward, this is Lake Albert, and this is Lake Turkana. Okay, these are the great, okay, African lakes. And write down some generic points about these lakes. Some generic points, I'll tell you specific points later on. Okay. Since these lakes are created along the rifting, there is endogenic force. They're usually deep. Now, when the earth is cracking, okay, when you're going deeper and deeper, the temperature will become high. When temperature becomes high, when the water goes inside these lakes, this rifting, it will dissolve a lot of minerals also. That's why, okay, these lakes are mostly alkaline in nature. Okay, you see, so whenever such kind of a rift will be happening, a lot of minerals will dissolve. That's why they are alkaline in nature. Next point. These lakes are mineral rich, okay, and alkaline in nature. Since rifting can happen at any time, For example, you can see, so recently this region had a rifting. For example, this one is. Okay. So this is a very recent one. In 2019, it happened. So since rifting can happen anytime, okay, now say if you're settling around this area, anything can happen. So you're constructing a house here, you did not know the rift is happening there. So what will happen? Your house will be torn apart. Okay, it will be divided into two. Okay, or if the rifting increases enormously, volcanism can also happen. So that's why in African culture, okay, settlements are not allowed here. So since from a very long time, okay, अफ्रीका के बड़े बुजुर्गों ने बोला है कि भाई वहां मत जाओ, वहां पे जाके मत बैठना, वहां जाके बैठेगा तो क्या हो जाएगा, right? That's when African culture it is not allowed. Okay. Now, okay, what is the implication, geopolitical implication of this? क्या होगा? Since it hasn't been settled for a long period of time, the population is increasing. Okay, technology is also increasing. The people will start encroaching. तब लड़ाई होगा. भाई ये मेरा land है, ये मेरा land. That's why along the Great African Rifting, you have numerous conflicts. Understand? Right now. So just don't study that the rifting is happening, lakes are there. Its importance क्या है वो समझो ना पहले. Why, you know, why the what conflicts are happening in this region? What are written there? Anytime in African culture, this region was forbidden. Okay. It was a frontier. It used to be a frontier. I hope you understand what is frontier. But due to the increase in the population, and technological advances, okay, you can quote unquote because it is Africa, technological advances, the rifting region is witnessing numerous conflicts. Which we'll see later. Okay. And here the order of the lakes becomes very important. Okay. So write down about these lakes. Some points about these lakes. Write about Lake Tanganyika. Lake Tanganyika. It is the second deepest lake in the world. Second deepest lake in the world. First one is Lake Baikal. First one is Lake बाई बाई होती ना घर पे काम करने वाली, राइट? वो क्या बोलती है? नहीं साहब कल आएगी, कल आएगी। बाई कल. Baikal in Russia, that is around 1700 meters.
Please repeat the statement.
बाई जो होती है ना घर में काम करने वाली, वो बोलती है कल आएगी, ये साहब कल आएगी, इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं बाई कल. Okay, 1700 meters means 1.7 kilometers deep. Okay, now this Lake Tanganyika is 1500 plus, means around 1.5 kilometers deep, 1500 plus meters. You don't have to know the exact depth, not required. And okay, don't just mug up these facts. Remember one thing, wherever you have, okay, deepest lake in the world, remember that it is created due to tectonic activity. It has been part of divergent plate boundary. In bracket you can write. So wherever there are deepest lakes in the world, they are created due to tectonic activity. That is divergent. Once upon a time, they are part of divergent plate boundary. And remember, Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake. Lake Victoria, give a side heading, Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake. Specifically, you write. It is source of White Nile River. Source of White Nile. Huh? Victoria. It is the second largest lake in the world by surface area. Second largest lake in the world by surface area. First being Lake Superior. The first is Lake Superior. Huh? A Lake Superior, okay. US Canada के बीच में. Okay. Next, Lake Turkana. The Lake Turkana is here. It is between Kenya and Ethiopia. Okay, Lake Turkana. It is shared by Kenya and Ethiopia. See, look at this region. This region is a dry region. In a dry region, if there is no enough source of water and if there is a lot of evaporation, so that lake will turn alkaline or salty. Right on next point. It's a world's largest permanent desert lake. Permanent desert lake. See, here you have the Great African Rifting. Okay, so this is Great African Rifting. So Great African Rifting, the West African Rift, okay, extends till you have a mountain, volcanic mountain called as Kilimanjaro. You can write down this point in Great African Rifting. So the eastern part of the rifting extends till volcanic mountain Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro, you know na? Rajinikanth, Aishwarya. So till now, whichever lakes we have seen, They're falling along the Great African Rifting. But here you have a lake. Here there's a lake. This is called as Lake Tana. Lake Tana is not a Rift Valley lake. Lake Tana, it's in Ethiopia. Later on, we'll come across this. Lake Tana is not a Rift Valley lake, but it is created due to rifting. But it is created due to rifting. I'll explain how. For example, it's Chandrababu Naidu ki sarkar nahi hai, but the sarkar is created because of Chandrababu Naidu. I said, understood the point? Okay. Now let's see how this lake has been formed. This lake is important because Blue Nile origin is Lake Tana. Blue Nile's origin is Lake Tana. Now, how this lake has been created because of rifting? So when you have a rifting, okay, you have these volcanic eruptions. Will they have one elevation, one nation, one elevation? No, it will be having undulating topography. So in this undulating topography, if water is accumulated, it has formed Lake Tana. Okay, you can write this in your own language. I'll not be explaining this. Okay. The undulating topography, understand this statement, you can write, or else you can simply ignore, like the way you have ignored your life. Okay. थंबा कलर होता है अलग अलग तरह का. ओके, लाइक एक महान व्यक्ति ने बोला है, ओके, लोगों को अपने कपड़ों के कलर से पहचान सकते हैं, बोला है ना. वैसे ही यहाँ पे पानी के कलर से रिवर का नाम पड़ता है. Understood? You know it very well, right? Who said that? Goodness. तुमको PhD देना चाहिए. Okay. So mountains over, what you've done? Okay, lakes over, and later on we'll be talking about more lakes, okay, which have been drying up very fast. Okay. Now before that, we'll be talking about the rivers of Africa. Again, don't remember all the rivers, not required. Okay. Only few rivers are important. So I believe in Pareto optimality. Study only 80% of the syllabus, strike 50 to 60% rate. That's it. You'll qualify the examination. Okay. So these are the important rivers. Senegal, okay, Niger River, Volta River, Congo, Zambezi, Limpopo, Orange, and you have Blue Nile, White Nile. That's it. You don't have to go for any other river. And remember, wherever you'll be having river, now again, link this river map with the physical geography map. What will be the source of the river? Any river. It should be a highland or a mountain. Now tell me, which mountain or highland you have here? Guinea Highlands. See, two rivers are emerging from here. Okay. For example, here. So this is part of Great African Rifting. You'll be having some Rift Valley. Okay. Block mountains over here. And look at this part. It's also part of Great African Rifting. You'll be having block mountains over here. Blue Nile, you see. What is the source here? Larger area. Ethiopian Highlands. Orange River. Source kya hai? Drakensberg. Right. And here you have some islands. Limpopo River. You have some islands over there. They're part of the, okay, the what? Katanga Shield region. Repeat. No, do one thing, superimpose this diagram over the physical geography part. You'll get the highlands names. Some of the salient features of Africa I did not tell you. You should have written them in the beginning. Okay. So write them in the beginning. Okay. Some salient features. Importance of Africa, or the Africa as an overall continent. Write it in the beginning. So these are the very cliche ones. Second largest continent in the world. Cliché points. Second largest continent. It has 54 countries. Important because of African Union. So where you can apply this? If India wants to apply for some membership, then all these countries' support becomes very important. Okay, they're part of African Union. That's why you should know the number 54. Okay. Again, here you don't have to remember which country has the largest area here. Okay, now you have to remember because earlier you had Sudan United. Okay, South Sudan and North Sudan. Okay, Sudan was a single country, but now it has been split. Okay, that's why you should know the country by areas also. Country by area. Algeria, first is Algeria. Second is the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Now Sudan is third. That's why you should remember. I'm telling you the logic why you should remember. Don't, okay, mug up anything blindly without no reason for UPSC. Only if there is something, okay, which has happened in the recent past, UPSC will be asking questions. Smallest country is Seychelles. It's an island which is made up of sand dune. Smallest country is Seychelles. SYCHELLES. Seychelles. It's important because, okay, India, okay, has strategic advantage over here because India has airstrip. Later on, we'll discuss when we discuss Indian Ocean. Importance क्या है? India has airstrip. We will not be calling it as air base. Air base मतलब क्या होता है? No, okay, plane होगा, building होगा, etc. Okay, later on we'll discuss this. Airstrip, just a strip. Okay. Now, smallest country in mainland Africa is Gambia. Again, this is important because we have a conflict here in this region. That's why. Smallest country in the mainland Africa is Gambia. Because just beside, okay, recently there has been the news because the Gambians had to flee. There was a refugee crisis. That's why you have to remember. Otherwise, unnecessarily, don't remember. Now, this is the physical geography part. Now, let's see what is the human geography part over here. Now, why India should be having good ties with Africa and why we cannot scramble Africa like the way China is doing. Now, Africa has a population of around, okay, 1.3 billion. Okay, like, we can say equal to India almost. 1.3 billion population. But India has, say, okay, 1.4 billion. What is the growth rate of India? The growth rate of India after COVID, it fell below 1%. Okay, I don't know why the census hasn't been conducted. Please conduct the census very soon. Okay, because if you want to give, okay, any, okay, package, or if you want to help the disadvantaged sections of the society, you should exactly know. अब ऐसे ही, okay, 40,000 crore नरेगा के लिए बांटोगे क्या? भाई पता होनी चाहिए ना कितने किसान है, कितने फार्मर है. इससे जल्दी सेंसस कंडक्ट करवाओ. Okay, I'm requesting this to two Babus, Nitish Babu and Chandra Babu. Right? Now, what is the growth rate of India? Population growth rate? It has decreased. Okay, thanks to South India. It is less than 1%. They dropped below 1. Okay. The growth rate of Africa is 2.5%. Annual growth rate I'm talking about. That means in future, the Africa's population will increase enormously. Okay. If you look at the world dynamics, okay. Now, earlier the power center was here. They had huge population because the workforce will be coming from there. Afterwards, the power center has shifted here. Now the power center is China. It has high population. And India, okay, has become the highest population in the world, but again, power has not shifted. Okay, because we have become Vishwa Guru. Power nahi aaya. So India को फ्यूचर में कभी ना कभी पावर आएगा थोड़ा बहुत. The power center should shift here. Okay, अगर आप सब लोग ऐसा पढ़ाई लिखाई okay, छोड़ के कुछ एंटरप्रेन्योर बनोगे, okay, शार्क टैंक में जाओगे, कुछ इंडस्ट्री सर्विस करोगे, हाँ, okay, what Web3 डेवलप करोगे, हाँ, ऐसे बैठ के IIT वाले, हाँ क्या कर रहे हो, हाँ. So when you do all this, okay, India will also become a developed country. The power center will shift here. Okay. जब इंडिया पावर सेंटर बनेगा, इंडिया का मार्केट कौन बनेगा? अफ्रीका विल बिकम द मार्केट बिकॉज इट हैज हाई पॉपुलेशन. एंड जहां पे भी मार्केट होती है, ओके, तो डेवलप्ड कंट्री का नजर हमेशा वहां पे हो. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी शुड बी हैविंग अ वेरी गुड relations with Africa. But what we can do, we can't, okay, throw money like China, right? We can't build infrastructural projects over there. We can't give cheap loans to the dictators over there. खुद के पास पैसे नहीं है, right? तो क्या करें? What India can do? Just Jaishankar, thug like movements you haven't on reels, right? अभी बताओ क्या करें? So what we can do is that we have human resource. क्या दे सॉफ्टवेयर दे सकते हैं, ओके, लाइक जियो यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, वहां पे भी जाके प्रोवाइड करो. इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी दे सकते हैं, पढ़ाई लिखाई करवा सकते हैं. तो रिगार्डिंग पढ़ाई लिखाई, IIT Madras has established its offshore campus in Africa. Okay, and in India also numerous universities. We are also planning for privatization of the. Okay, we are also planning to invite the foreign universities in India. So when you have so many universities in India, so why can't we invite Africans into India? When these Africans come into India, they study. Okay, पढ़े लिख के वहां जाके या कलेक्टर बनेंगे, प्रेसिडेंट बनेंगे, कुछ भी बनेंगे. Don't you think that they'll be having soft corner towards India, right? If they are not discriminated here, right? That's what you should be keeping in mind. Because in India there have been various instances. Okay, Noida mein, okay, you have seen that, Sharda University, the world is here, right? Ads dekha hoga na, right? In Noida, okay, you see a lot of Africans, but they're discriminated there. जब 4 साल यहाँ पे पढ़ाई करके फिर घर वापस जाएंगे, अफ्रीका आ जाएंगे, डू यू थिंक दे विल बी हैविंग गुड थिंग टू से अबाउट इंडिया? Right? That's why, whenever they come here, we should be giving them special treatment. Okay? Like, our culture says, na, Athithi Devo Bhava. Okay? Something of that sort. Okay? Respect them. Okay? Treat them. Okay? Because they are going to be a future market. So that is where, okay, India can make strides. I said the population growth rate is important. Okay? Baki sab cheeze bakwas hai. Okay? You can ignore. Okay? Now, talking about the rivers, have you written anything about rivers? Right? Nile River, I will discuss later when I'll be discussing conflict. Okay, don't write it here. I'll discuss it in context. Next, write about Congo River. Also, I'll discuss in context. Okay, write Congo River now. Yeah, Congo River. No problem. 1 second. I have something on the board. I'll get it. Write down some points about Congo River. Later on, I'll add. It's Africa's second longest river. Second longest river. It crosses the equator twice. You can see in the map also. Crosses the equator twice. Origin. One of the origins is Lake Tanganyika. One of the origins is Lake Tanganyika. You can see in the map here. So you have, it has one branch here also. That's why one of the lakes is Lake Tanganyika. It, हाँ, एक है यहाँ पे दिखाया नहीं branch. That's why one of the लिखा है. Okay. The second largest exporter of terrestrial organic carbon. Second largest exporter of terrestrial organic carbon into the seas. See, they might not be asking you because this is in the news for some reason. They will not be asking you, okay, it's a second largest or first largest. Okay. So they might ask you, okay, where the carbon in highest percentage is located. Carbon, okay, atmosphere, oceans, land, or earth. Okay, the first one is what? Land. Land-based carbon is the highest. Second, oceans. Third, atmosphere. In fact, atmosphere has very, very less quantity of carbon. It is also called as the lung of Africa. Also called as the lung of Africa. So don't you think it should be protected or not? Should be protected, right? So that's why there has been a declaration here. Now, along this, okay, river of Congo, not visible now. Okay. So when you have a large amount of carbon in this region, for example, okay, this is the Congo Basin. The Congo Basin has numerous forests. Okay. So when the forest leaf will be falling in the ground, the carbon will be accumulated in the ground. Okay. When the carbon percentage increases to near about 40%, it will called as peatlands. The peat is a type of a coal, inferior quality coal. And this peatland is called as cuvette centrale. Okay, write down. It has, the Congo basin has world's largest tropical peatlands. Tropical peatland called as, write down this name. Whatever, okay, it is pronounced as cuvette centrale. Rajeshwari, how it is pronounced? Cuvette centrale. But again, this is undergoing deterioration because we want vikas in this region also, right? India mein ho gaya vikas, yahan pe bhi vikas chahiye. So since it is undergoing destruction, don't you think it should be protected? Right? So it should be protected. That's why declaration has been signed. Okay. The name of the declaration is Brazzaville Declaration. Write down. To protect this peatland, Brazzaville, Brazzaville, Brazzaville Declaration has been signed. It will not just protect the cuvette centrale, but also it will protect the peatlands of, also it will protect the tropical peatlands of equatorial Amazon, and equatorial Southeast Asia. And equatorial Southeast Asia. Next, you have the Niger River. So this is part of the current affairs, very important for this year prelims, huh? Niger River. Third longest It forms Africa's largest delta. Source is Guinea Highlands. Source is Guinea Highlands. And from which all countries it will be going through? Okay, not required. Okay. Next is Zambezi River. Zambezi River. Again, 2-3 locations here are very important along the Zambezi. Okay, right down. Fourth longest river of Africa. Origin is Kalena Hills. Kalena, not Kalina or Kalana. Okay, Kalena. Kalena Hills. It's in northwestern Zambia. Northwestern Zambia. If possible, okay, draw this. Okay, the 2 important locations are important here: Victoria Falls and Lake Kariba. Both are important. I'll tell you about Victoria Falls first. must have heard about this Victoria Falls. Okay. So this is the world's largest waterfall. Largest. So this waterfall is along 1.7 kilometers. Now guess where this water is flowing into. It appears like what? Rift. It is nothing but the extension of the Great African Rifting. So into this rift, this water is flowing. Okay, I know. Victoria Falls, located between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe में cricket खेलता है क्या? It plays, but BCCI didn't kill it. No. Between Zambia and Zimbabwe, world's largest waterfall, 1.7 kilometers. It is created when Zambezi is created when Zambezi is flowing into the rift created by tectonic activity. Of course, it's also like World Heritage Site. World Heritage Site. Now, height. भगवान ये है लंबा सलमान ओके ये उनको भी जा रहा है थोड़ा ओके क्वेश्चंस पर्सनल क्वेश्चंस बाद में करेंगे हाँ ओके नेक्स्ट लेक करीबा KARABA करीबा
Sir, what is the height?
व्हाट
What is
लंबाई है हाइट डजंट मैटर अफ्रीका में इतना व्हाट लेक करीबा KARABA तुम लोग क्या है कौन से टाइम पे कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछते हो हाँ लेक करीबा नो सी क्लाइमेट चेंज इज रियल और नॉट क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है कि हम चेंज हो रहे हैं climate change is happening. So because of climate change, the amount of the water in the river is also decreasing, because of which the water in Lake Kariba has also decreased, and that has led to the droughts in this region. Right on. Recently, again, this is current affairs. Recently, in Lake Kariba, KARABA, the water has reduced, leading to droughts in Zimbabwe and Zambia. Zimbabwe and Zambia. Okay. Next is Orange River. And Orange River is not orange in color, okay? Okay. Longest river of South Africa. Origin is Lesotho, Lesotho. It's a country. Lesotho. 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 Next, your Limpopo River. Again, not that important. Limpopo. Flowing into Limpopo, flows into Indian Ocean. You can write one more point. Limpopo and Zambezi flows into Indian Ocean. Limpopo and Zambezi flows into Indian Ocean. So rifting is done, lakes is done, rivers is done, physical features are done, right? Next is the deserts. Deserts of Africa. Again here, why so happy? Red is the base. Now, why deserts are very important? Because wherever you have desert here, you have Islam. Okay, wherever you see green part over here, you have Christianity there. So this is a religious composition. So in that context, it becomes important. Okay, you can see the map also. Okay, the desert part. Okay, and this is the green part. So this is also creating a lot of cultural divides and ethnic divides, and it is leading to conflicts. That's why you should be knowing about the deserts. Okay, now which all deserts you have? Now tell me, Jaldi, what are the reasons for the deserts? These are the trade wind deserts. So this has been a previous mains question also. 5 reasons. Write down Jaldi. The first reason is sinking winds. Sinking winds. Specifically write down reasons for the trade wind deserts or tropical deserts. These are not temperate deserts. Sinking winds. Second reason is offshore trades. Offshore trades. Is the winds are going away from the land, not towards the land. Third reason is upwelling. So because of upwelling on the western side of the continents, you'll be having cold waters, which will form dry and desiccating condition. The water vapor will not evaporate and form clouds here. So cool waters. Fourth reason is cold ocean currents. Cold ocean currents. Again, the cold ocean currents will be having the same effect. And fifth reason being what? Upper air inversion. Upper air inversion. So these are the various deserts. And the names of the deserts here. On the western part of Sahara, you have a desert called as Red Desert. Red. This Red Desert is sandy and stony. Not sandy, it is stony desert. Because it is so dry that weathering could not happen. Keep writing, okay, when I'm saying these things, keep writing. And draw a rough map of Africa and know them. And then you have Sahara. Sahara Desert. And in the eastern part, Egypt and Sudan, you have Nubian Desert. Okay. In Somalia, you have Somali Desert. And here is Namib Desert. Namib Desert is in Namibia. Of course, in Libya, you'll be having Libyan Desert. In Egypt, you'll be having Egyptian Desert. Again, Kalahari is not a trade wind desert. It is formed because of different reasons. I'll tell you that later. अरे अपने अपने कंट्री में अपना अपना नाम होगा ना. ओके, अभी क्या है, टूनिशिया में टूनिशियन डेजर्ट होगा, अल्जीरिया में अल्जीरियन डेजर्ट होगा. ओके, नाइजर में नाइजर डेजर्ट होगा. ओके, चाड में व्हाट होगा, चाड डेजर्ट होगा. Again, one point I forgot here in Great African Rifting, that is, you see the rifting here. So earlier also I told you, whenever you'll be having a rift, whenever you have a hotspot, it will always form a triple junction. Okay, the name of the triple junction is Afar triple junction. Add this in Great African Rifting. Sorry, I'll be adding things in between. Okay, whenever I remember things now, I'll be adding like this. Kindly adjust now. Afar triple junction. Okay, Afar triple junction will be separating 3 plates. This is Arabian plate. Okay. On this side, okay, you have the Nubian plate. Okay. And on this side, okay, you have this after this is part of African plate only, but in future it will be separated. Okay. You can call it a Somali plate in the future. This is at the junction of three tectonic plates. Arabian, Nubian, and Somali. Okay. And in future, this Somali plate will be separated. Somali plate will be separated, forming an ocean in between. So here also you can see Victoria Lake here. So Victoria is not part of rifting. Okay. And see, whenever the rifting becomes intense, the volcanic activity will increase in that region. And also lot of chemical compounds, alkaline, acidic, they'll be oozing from the ground. And when they ooze out in large quantity, they'll be making the region inhospitable. Okay. So at the end of Africa here in this region, okay, in Ethiopia near Djibouti, in this region you have a region called as Danakil Depression. Right on? At the edge of the Great African Rifting, in Ethiopia, there is Ethiopia, you can write Eritrea also, part of Eritrea, part of Djibouti. Part of Eritrea and part of Djibouti. There is Danakil Depression, D-A-N-A-K-I-L. Danakil Depression. It is the world's most inhospitable place. Okay, now Ethiopia is into conflict, that's why you should know this. But what is the practical utility of it? Why it is yellow in color? Yellow color is because of sulfur. It is yellowish because of sulfur content. See, whenever a question is coming in examination, okay, why this color, particular color in a lake or water? Okay, usually it is also because of the algae. Okay, remember this also. But here it is because of sulfur. And remember one more thing. Okay, whenever the volcano is starting in the inception or at the end of the volcano, usually sulfur is released in large quantity, and those locations will be yellowish in color. You can write on this also. Usually in the beginning of the volcano or at the end of the volcano, sulfur is released in large quantity. Giving it yellow coloration. And such landforms are called as, remember this? Solfatores or fumaroles. Solfatores or fumaroles. Spelling is written here in yellow, you can see. So next, coming back to the deserts. Namibia. Okay. The Namibia has a desert. If you look at the Namibian desert, See, this is a very unique location. You'll not see any location in the world where sand dunes are directly meeting the sea. So that's why it has been also awarded as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Right now, Namibian Desert or Namib Desert. You've done all this, right? Namib Desert. It is the oldest desert in the world, around 56 million years old. Oldest desert in the world, 56 million years old. It is also the coldest of the tropical deserts or warm deserts. It is also the coldest of hot desert or tropical desert. Why it is coldest? Because if you're having extensive sand dunes, the sand dunes, okay, the sand will be having very low specific heat. It will be losing the heat very fast. That's why it is also coldest. Third point. Third point is it's UNESCO World Heritage Site. Because of its uniqueness. Because of its uniqueness, where the sand dunes directly meet the sea. Okay. So that's it about the desert. Okay, Sahara, largest, etc. Cliche points I'll not be telling you. Reg, I told you. Okay, Nubian is in Egypt and Sudan. Okay, Sudan is in the news because of the conflicts. Right on. Nubian Desert. Desert is in Egypt and Sudan. Remember Sudan. Egypt you can ignore. Next, we'll be talking about Kalahari Desert here. I don't give us idea in Kalahari Desert. So this is where you have the Drakensberg mountain, right? And from here, you'll be having the trade winds coming. These are the trade winds. This is the Namib Desert. Namib Desert. Namib Desert is formed because of the reasons which I told you. 5 reasons I told you. Okay. But here, you have the Kalahari Desert here. Kalahari Desert. It's not the trade wind desert. It is on the leeward side of Drakensberg. So when you are having a mountain like this, so this is the leeward side. So this is where the winds will be coming, the trade winds. So it is basically a rain shadow region of Drakensberg. Rain shadow region. So it's not a trade wind desert. It is formed due to its location on leeward side of Drakensberg. And it is important for a tribe called as Bushmen. What happened? Important for a tribe called as Bushmen. Now let's see some of the plains of Africa. I'll be telling you only 2-3 important ones. Plains of Africa. So just now I told you that. So this is somewhere your Kalahari is. I guess I told you in your class, why the name Kalahari has come. Okay. Now this, which mountain is this? Drakensberg. And this region, okay, on the ocean side, we say here you have the ocean. So here you don't have a platform formation. Here you'll be having a platform formation because of the accumulation of the debris. Okay, it's also called as Piedmont. It's also called as peneplain. Okay, peripeneplain. There's so many names over here. Okay, so basically, okay, it is forming a plateau kind of a thing because of the accumulation of the debris. Simply, you can call it as Piedmont plateau. Piedmont plateau. Sometimes it is also called as peneplain. Peneplain. No, Africa is a hot country or a cold country? Hot, right? So in a hot country, will you have a temperate grassland? You shouldn't be having, right? You should be having tropical grasslands. But again, you have a temperate grassland because of the elevation. So here you have a grassland called as high wells. In the lower location, you have low wells. Low wells are tropical grasslands. And high wells are temperate grasslands. Temperate grasslands. Both combined are also called as bush wells. Because you have Bushman tribe over there. I guess for the old students also, it's not boring. You have new points, right? So next, again, the region becomes important here. Okay. You have this area of Tanzania and Kenya. Again, here you have plains. Again, these are part of the African savanna grasslands. These are called as Serengeti plains. Serengeti plains. They are part of African savanna. Mostly located in Kenya and Tanzania. One of the largest concentrations of mammal species. Largest concentrations of mammal species. Because you have a lot of grasslands over here. Okay, if you have grasslands, you'll be having large herbivores. So when you have large herbivores, you'll be having large carnivores also. So this region is also called as big game country. This region is also called as big game country. Because here licenses are provided for hunting. Big game. Game. Big game. Nitish Kumar. Big game country. And illegal wildlife trade is also prominent in this region. Illegal wildlife trade. Now, this is all about the physical geography part. Okay, let's enter into conflicts now, which is going to be asked in examination. But if you want to understand the conflict, okay, you should know the geography of the region. first country in the focus here is Dr. Congo. Okay, what do you call it? DRC, right? Democratic Republic of Congo. Right now, we'll focus on this country first. Okay. The first question which they might ask is, since it is in conflict, last time also this question has been asked. Okay. But again, you have so many conflicted regions, there have been a lot of developments as compared to last year. Okay. That's why they also might ask a question again. What are the countries which are surrounding DRC? Right on the first. Especially if you're preparing for prelims this year and also for next 2-3 years, it is going to be relevant. Okay. Countries surrounding DRC. Right on. Let's start from Angola, because Angola is also into conflict. Angola. Congo. Normal Congo. Congo. Central African Republic. South Sudan. Uganda. Rwanda. Again, Uganda is important here. Rwanda, again, very important. Burundi. Burundi. Tanzania. And Zambia. Zambia. Okay. Now let's see what is the reason behind the conflict. यहाँ पे conflict क्यों हो रहा है? Okay. So you can see the people here, right? These are okay peacekeepers. Okay. They belong to an ethnic group called as Tutsi. Okay, remember that features over here. Now let's see the differences between Tutsi and Hutu. Can you identify them very easily? So this is the Hutu tribe. Can't you see? Stark difference in the features. So these are completely sharp features, long conical. Okay, this is okay, mostly okay, negroid, right? So this is the Tutsi tribe, and this is the Hutu tribe. Okay, keep on writing the story. So again, it is reason for different reasons also. Now, if you look at the ethnic population breakdown, okay, in Rwanda you have around 84% Hutus, 15% Tutsis. Okay. So in 1994, a genocide has occurred. Obviously, who will be killing whom? Who will be persecuted in any country? Minority or majority? Minority. Okay. So there was a Tutsi genocide in Rwanda, 1994. There's a very good movie called as Hotel Rwanda. Have you seen anyone? Dekho kabhi, yeah? So 1994, there was a genocide. So wherever you're getting Tutsis, like the Hutus were killing them. Okay. Now, when Tutsis were in danger, where they will go and settle? DRC. So a lot of Tutsis, they settled in DRC, and also some Hutus have settled in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. And the region where they have settled is north of Lake Kivu. That's also called as North Kivu province. Region where they have settled is North Kivu province. Now the masla kya hai? Problem is, now Democratic Republic of Congo is such a large country. Either you have a grassland or you have a forest. And wherever you'll be having grasslands or the forest, tribal communities are very dominant. And the tribal communities, their allegiance is towards their clan, towards their tribe, or towards this tribal chief. उनको country matter नहीं करता. Okay, कौन सी country है? So the loyalty is more towards their tribe. That's why if you have a very large country, and especially if the capital is located in one corner, why Kinshasa is located in one corner, right? The capital should have been somewhere in between, right? So these people, okay, will have inaccessibility because of the long distance towards the capital, also because of difficult terrain. So they feel neglected, okay? When they feel neglected, and when their ambitions, when you have different ethnicities, and if one ethnicity is dominating, so the other minority ethnicities, they'll feel disenfranchised, okay? And they will catch weapons, and that will cause a rebellion. Now these Tutsis, okay, in DRC, they formed a rebel group called as M23 rebel group. So this is the region which has been dominated. So the Tutsi rebels, because they want more autonomy, they want share in the power, which the majority is not providing them. So the Tutsi ethnic group has formed a rebel group called as M23. Other than this, you also have one more group. Also, numerous groups over here. Okay, one very important group is M23, and other important group is called as ADF. ADF is Allied Democratic Forces. Two groups are important here: Allied Democratic Forces. Now, Democratic Republic of Congo is making an accusation that Rwanda is supporting M23 groups. But you might be asking, in Rwanda, we have Houthis. But again, in between, you had Tutsi-led government. So if you have a Tutsi-led government here in Rwanda, obviously their brothers and sisters are located in DRC, they'll be supporting. What do you think? It's like, Kashmir is in Azad Kashmir are being supported. Okay, the Kashmiris वहां पे भी है जो आजाद है पाकिस्तान में. Obviously, for example, okay, someone from Kashmir, okay, will come and okay say वहां से कोई चंद्रबाबू नायडू जैसा निकला, okay, who has a very strong hold in the government. So don't you think he'll have a say? Okay, he will be very much vocal for the Kashmiris over there, right? In the same fashion, okay, when you had this Tutsi-led government, they're supporting these groups over here. But again, ऐसे कुछ करते हैं क्या? उसके पीछे रिजर्व भी होगा, right? So that's why we should see the reserves which are there in DRC. Okay, so you can write one sentence: DRC has been accusing Rwanda and Uganda also, but majorly Rwanda, accusing Rwanda of supporting M23. And this North Kivu region is extremely rich in cobalt and copper. Like I said earlier, whenever you see a conflict, you should be having some reserve over there. You can also use this as resource curse. Means if you are having a resource, you'll be cursed. You'll be underdeveloped. You'll be having conflicts all the time. Okay. Now DRC has almost 50% of world's cobalt. You can write down other figures also. Other important metals which the Rwanda has. You can note down. Diamonds, 25% of the world. DRC is rich in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. DRC has 25% of world's diamonds, ornamental diamonds, industrial 9. Okay, copper 6% doesn't matter. Cobalt 50%. Figure is wrong here. Okay. Next, tantalum is around 25 to 65%. What? It's a metal which is being used in a lot of high grade electronic equipments. Because results are being found. Again, who will do the survey here? That's why a lot of variation will be there. But definitely, it should be having more than 50%. Okay. This is rich in reserve. Again, let's get to the geographical point of view. Why DRC is rich in minerals? Because this entire region of Africa, this is part of Katanga Shield region. Is rich in minerals because DRC is sitting on Katanga Shield. I hope you know what is shield. So wherever you'll be having shield regions in the world, they'll be rich in metalliferous minerals. So wherever in the world you have the shield regions, they're rich in metalliferous minerals. Okay. So this is about the conflicts. Okay. So what you have to remember is that North Kivu you have to remember, Kivu Lake you have to remember. The Kivu Lake is located between which two countries? They might be asking such kind of questions. Okay. It's Rwanda and DRC. Write down this also. Kivu Lake is located between Rwanda and DRC. And here, along this lake, one city is very important, a city called as Goma. Is the important city of DRC in the east. Goma is an important city of DRC in the east. Occupied by M23, now controlled by M23. And 2 years ago, there was volcanic eruption in Goma. 2 years ago, there was a volcanic eruption in Goma. Now, who is supporting DRC here? China is supporting DRC. Democratic Republic of Congo. China is supporting. Again, why China is supporting? Of course, resources are there. That's why they support, right? So this is clear. You must have read this news before. Must have come across these kind of things. Anyone? Right? Any extra information you want to add? Huh? With DRC, copper, extraction of copper. I'll look into that, if I'll tell you tomorrow. And one more recent development has happened. Now, whenever you have this problem of, ethnicity, okay, say, okay, you have been undergoing genocide, you can seek asylum in other country. So previously, when Tutsis were undergoing, this genocide, they seeked asylum from UK. Okay. Now, when an immigrant has become the Prime Minister of UK, right, he is saying that we'll be stopping the boats and he's deporting all the Tutsis back. Basically, he's deporting the Rwandans back. And for this, they have passed the resolution in the parliament also. The Rwandans will be sent back. Write down this. Recently, खुद का पता नहीं, खुद को डिपोर्ट कर देंगे शायद अभी, हाँ? Okay. Rishi Sunak. Government passed the resolution to deport the Rwandans back. This context has come, I'm telling you. अभी ये वाला रीजन डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना, इसलिए बोल रहा हूं why Rwanda is important. And they can't identify, right? Next, again, you look at this Goma, this region, this great African rifting region. The rifting region is very rich in minerals also, right on this. The rifting region along DRC is also rich in numerous minerals. Most importantly, coltan, C-O-L-T-A-N. Most importantly, coltan, C-O-L-T-A-N, is an important ingredient in mobile phones. An important mineral which is used for making mobile phones. Coltan, you remember, huh? Don't get confused between coltan and cobalt. Cobalt, lithium-ion batteries. Colton, mobile phones. Okay. So Uganda is over. Okay, this is also over. Let's come to Ethiopia now. Discuss Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Ethiopia is landlocked country. Again, it becomes very important because Ethiopia has been funding a separatist movement in Somaliland because it wants to have access to the sea coast. Because without a sea coast, you can't make the trade. So that's why in this context, you should know that it is landlocked. It's surrounded by whom? Again, it's important. Surrounded by. That's why you should know the neighbors. Who is blocking Ethiopia's access to the sea? Surrounded by Djibouti, Eritrea, Sudan, South Sudan, Kenya, and Somalia. Now here in Ethiopia, some ethnic group become very important. Okay. So this is an ethnic composition of Ethiopia. You can roughly draw the diagram. Okay. Here three ethnic group becomes very important. Okay, I'll show you in geography here. So around this part now, you have Oromo group. Oromo. Okay. This region over here, you have Amhara. And in the northern part, okay, this hilly part, you have Tigray people. And on this side, you have Somalis. See, if you have geographical contiguity, you'll be having same ethnic group. And this part, the eastern part of Ethiopia, okay, is also a conflicted region. Obviously, Somalis are more there in Somalia. Obviously, they want that this region to be separated. The geographical contiguity, okay, is also the contiguity of the culture, ethnicity. You can draw this map roughly. Oromo. The current president of Ethiopia, has mixed ethnicities. It's Oromo also, Amhara also, Christian also, Muslim also, all in one. हर जगह से मिला के. Christian, Muslim, Oromo, Amhara. चारों है, मतलब family lineage है. Wherever you go, will be saying ना, मेरा बिहार से बहुत पुराना रिश्ता है. Okay, मुझे लगता है मुझे मध्य प्रदेश में पैदा होना था. Okay, हमारे if you go to Kerala, you'll be saying that. Okay, हमारा केरला से बहुत ही नजदीक रिश्ता है, मैं यहीं पे योग किया था. Something like that you'll be saying ना. But he has actual lineage. Okay, so look at the ethnicities here. The most dominant group, okay, being Oromo, right on the percentages, around 35%. Oromo 35. Second largest is Amhara. Huh? Abiy Ahmed hai na? Sorry, Prime Minister, sorry. Head of the government, Prime Minister. Okay. Second, okay, largest is Amhara, around 27%. Okay. Third, you can put Tigray, no problem, 6.2%. Tigray. Third is Tigray. We'll not be discussing Somalis. Third is Tigray. Now let's see the complications here. It's quite complicated relationship. Oromo, yeah. Amara, yeah, Tigray. Okay. So Tigray is just 6.2% of the population. Now, till about 2012, okay, for 15 years, you had a Tigray president. The president of Tigray was there. Sorry, prime minister. The prime minister of Tigray was there. So when you had the prime minister of Tigray, everywhere, okay, they were Tigrayans. Okay, the contacts were Tigrayans. The army was made up of Tigrayans. Okay, the ministerial posts were, they went to Tigrayans. Okay, like it happened in Gujarat in India, right? So do you think the people who are just 6.2% and dominating the entire country, do you think others will like it? The 34%, 27%, do you think they will like it? So they will not like it. So that's why they have overthrown his government. Okay. Now currently they have chosen, okay, the Abiy Ahmed, okay, who is having kind of mixed ethnicities. He has been chosen. So usko pehle hi, okay, peace prize de diya tha, Nobel Peace Prize. भाई ओके तेरे कंट्री में बहुत झगड़ा हो रहा है पहले पीस प्राइज ले ले ओके कीप एवरीथिंग कूल इन योर कंट्री नाउ ओके सिंस ही गॉट द पीस प्राइज ही हैज टू बी वेरी मच पेशेंट नाउ द टिग्रेयंस ओके हु वर अर्लियर होल्डिंग ऑल द ओके power centers when they were thrown out okay they are rich also efficient also do you think they will like it they will not be liking it okay so that's why they started waging a war in Ethiopia they started attacking the military posts okay they started attacking the government facilities okay and also at the same time Amara group okay the Amara ethnicity it has a militant group called as Fano right on this the armed militia of Amara is called as Fano. Now, Amara people thought that, okay, when, okay, Abiy Ahmed, okay, when he has become the prime minister, we'll also get a share. But once he has become the prime minister, he is not giving, okay, due attention to Amara also. The Amaras got angry and they formed Fano. Obviously, Amaras will not be lighting Tigray. Okay, Amaras will not also like Oromos. So basically, they have opened a two-front war. Okay, in 2022, this question has been asked. Okay, the Tigray was in the news, but Amara was not in news much. After 1 year, Amara was in the news. But UPSC is always 1 or 2 years ahead. So they have asked Amara. Okay. So in Amara, okay, is fighting the war at the two fronts. Obviously, okay, the Oromo group doesn't want the Tigray to dominate. Okay. So once a military establishment, okay, in the Tigray region, okay, has been attacked, then Oromo, okay, this, the new president, along with Fano, he has sent, okay, he has unleashed, okay, his military, and finally the Tigray ethnic group has to flee away from the country. And finally, okay, they had to establish a lot of camps in the surrounding region. Okay, and most of the refugees went to Sudan. So do you think the Sudan will be liking the influx of these refugees? No, right? Okay, and again in Sudan, okay, you have a leader called as Hemeti. He belongs to a group called as RSF. Now, the military leader or paramilitary leader of Sudan may also support Fano group in order to control this Tigray outflux. So this becomes a quite complicated. Okay, कोई किसी का दोस्त नहीं है यहाँ पे, right? Obviously, okay, Tigray, okay, will be outsider over here. That's why remember all these groups over here. Okay, Oromo, Amara, Tigray, and Hemeti will come later. Okay, when we discuss Sudan. So this is the politics of Ethiopia. Okay. So these ethnicities become important again in future. Okay, if you want to write about the geopolitics and all, okay, what is the source of all this? Okay, ethnicity, diversity, differences, those kind of things you can always use. So this will not be just helpful for your prelims point of view, but mains point of view also it will be helpful. Okay, and just now we have discussed Afar triple junction is also one of these. Okay, now here you have Somalia. Okay, the Somali What ethnic group is there? So obviously it will be having differences, right? So this is called as Ogaden region. The Ogaden region is dominated by Somalis and it is conflicted between Somalia and Ethiopia. Right on this. Ogaden has Somali ethnicity, which is around 6.2%. Again, it's a desert part. Desert, bye. So it is in and out. Okay, sometimes Somalis come here, sometimes Ethiopia goes here. So we can't say it is conflicted, but again, okay, it has problem. Disputed area, you can say. The disputed area of Ethiopia, Ogaden. Again, write down this thing also. Ethiopia has around 85% Christian population. And around 15% Muslim population. 15% Muslim population. Obviously, you can guess, where the Christians will be and where the Muslims will be. Again, look at the geography. So this part, this dry part, okay, especially Tigray, okay, and Amara will be having Muslims over here, and here in the southern part will be having Christians. So it is not just the ethnic divide; it's also religious divide. Sorry, Tigray is Christians only. Sorry, eastern part. Okay, make a correction. The eastern part is Muslim, and this part is Christian. So Tigray is Christian. Specifically write down, Tigray is Christian. And Somali and Afar are Muslims. Okay. The next Somalia. Write down one more point here. So this region is called as Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa has 4 countries. Horn of Africa has 4 countries. Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Somalia we'll discuss after a break, okay? Okay, go for a break and come in half an hour.
What was the third country you said?
What?
The third country, Eritrea and Djibouti.
Come again?
What's the third country you just said after Eritrea and Djibouti?
Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Somalia.
Okay.